Hey ladies, today is Friday, September 6th, 2019. Still 8 weeks postpartum. I posted a few other videos yesterday, and then I thought, I have a few minutes. Michaela here is sleeping, so I just wanted to post another one while I had the chance, because I never know when I'll get another chance. I should be pumping, should always be pumping. That's really what my life is right now. It's, feed her, try to eat myself if I can, do a little bit, change her, pump. It's like every 2 to 3 hours I pump. I do have stretches where I do go 4 hours, occasionally 5 if something comes up. I try not to ever have the 5 hours. My breast by that point will be kind of engorged, not engorged in a negative like way, but starting to get very full. And so, if I wait that long, which I try not to, but sometimes it happens, things come up, right? You're a mom. So pumping every 2 to 3 hours is not always feasible, but overall, I try to get on that schedule. And if I do miss and I go 4 to 5 hours, then I do try to make up. So I at least pump 8 times a day, which is a lot. At least 8 times a day. The goal is 8 to 10 times. So if I need to, I'll pump within an hour of pumping last or 2 hours to make it up, to try to just pump as many times as I need to pump. But anyway, this video isn't about pumping. I did a pumping tips video. This video is really about mental and emotional support. If you've been with me throughout my IVF days and my pregnancy, and oh my God, now having a child, I can't believe that I've had all these transitions in what amounts to less than a year. I think I started IVF in October or maybe the end of September. So I think I'm coming up on a year of even starting this journey, and I've already, have a baby. So it was like, woo, a quick journey. But anyway, so what I wanted to say is that I've gone through a lot of emotions. I've spoken to you about a ton of them, which is the whole point of why I do this. Everything's about telling you about all what's going on with, mentally, emotionally. I do talk about other stuff, but that was the main goal, for more like a support system, because, especially doing IVF, in the Black community, there wasn't a huge support system. So I needed something. And then from there, it just became everything else, but the need for support doesn't stop once the baby is born. Actually, I think it like amplifies, because you have all these hormonal changes and, possibly baby blues or postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, which is a thing. There's a thing called postpartum anxiety that people don't talk about. And I feel like I suffered from that. She's sleeping, sorry. And sometimes she does make noises. It depends on the position she's in. If I change her, I'm not going to change her position, but if I change her position, she may not do that. But I'm not going to change her position because I don't want her to wake up right now. Unless she wakes up on her own, but that'll be a different story. So, also, she's in this clingy thing right now, so, which is probably my fault, but, from, constantly loving on her, but, she's in this super clingy, I need mommy constantly mode. So, I'm hoping she grows out of that soon. But anyway, I digress. So after you have the baby, there are a lot of emotions, and I was looking for a new moms group in my area, and there may be one in your area, but there wasn't one that was close enough for me that I felt like dragging a newborn to, because I needed something that I could go to, probably bring Michaela, and kind of commiserate with other moms about how this whole crazy mom process goes. And I couldn't find anything that was close enough in my area. And I went on Facebook as well, and there are mom groups on Facebook in my area. And you can maybe, you should go, if you're interested, go on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I mean, I'm not really huge on social media, despite all the videos I post. Go on Facebook and you'll see, if you look in the Facebook groups, there you'll probably find a new mom or some sort of mom group, a support group, or just some sort of moms group in your area. They tend to be everywhere. But I was looking for a group that I could go to and really talk to people, because like people posting online is okay, but it's impersonal to me, and I really needed like to feel like a connection. And it's hard sometimes to do that because I wanted to kind of establish mom friends, so to speak, that I could, contact maybe when things are super frustrating or I'm overwhelmed, or just to talk, just to say, hey, is this normal? What do you think? Now, yeah, I can post that online, but you know how online is. You get the haters, the dissenters, the ones who want to tell you you're doing everything wrong. And listen, that might happen in an in-person support group as well, but I just felt like it might be different, and I was unable to find one that I was willing to travel to with her. So I've just been doing my videos, as you know, and occasionally on the Facebook groups, I'll post little things. But mommies shame other mommies a lot, and that's not why I don't post on there. But it's just, if you open yourself up with, especially with breastfeeding, which is a super personal and sensitive matter for everybody, and how long you choose to breastfeed, whether you're supplementing with formula, whether you're only, whether you're giving your baby a bottle, everyone's going to have a theory on that. Whether you're breastfeeding at all and just doing formula, everyone's going to tell you, and we all have our thoughts and feelings, and that's what we do for our kids. But everyone can do what they want to do for their kids. As long as you're not hurting the baby, being happy and healthy is so much more important than just making sure the baby has breast milk. I mean, the reality is, if you give your baby even like an ounce or 2 ounces of breast milk, they're getting their immunities from there, and you could supplement completely the rest with formula. So, they'll get the formulas for their calories, and the little bit of breast milk you give, any breast milk is good. And she's doing this thing now where she's like moving her body a lot more than she used to, which I think means she's gearing up to learn to like roll over and stuff. So let's try to put her back. Hopefully she's not waking up yet. At least until I'm finished the video. Then I'm all yours again. Anyway, so there will be so many theories on what you should be doing and what's the right thing, and how you should be handling it. But it's really what's best for you and your family. And, I went through that a lot. Like, I would cry so much with the breastfeeding. I mean, me crying. I mean, she cried too, but I forced it. I was always super tense. I was always super like, it has to be this way, And the hospital that I delivered at was so pro breastfeeding. I feel like if you didn't breastfeed, you probably felt bad. But I did try to breastfeed because they really were pro breastfeeding. So pro breastfeeding. Like, they don't do pacifiers anyway. So even if you're not breastfeeding, they're not giving your baby a pacifier. They will give your baby formula if the baby's in the nursery, unless you can pump out milk. But usually in those first few days, moms can't pump out milk because I don't think the pump can actually remove colostrum, which is all you're producing in the first few days. So, they were so pro breastfeeding. All they talked about was breastfeeding support. They came to me constantly. But I felt bad when I had to give my baby a bottle, and that was just, a bottle with formula. And in the beginning, I mean, she's not even 2 months old yet. She'll be 2 months on Sunday, this coming Sunday, the 8th. But especially in the early days after coming back from the hospital, I supplemented with formula. I supplemented with formula in the hospital because I wasn't sure she was getting the colostrum. She did not latch at all in the hospital. So I was kind of hand expressing the colostrum and putting it in her mouth with a syringe. But I definitely supplemented. I wasn't sure that she was eating it. She didn't poop. She still doesn't poop great. She never poops great. She pooped once because otherwise they wouldn't, let me go. But she pooped once, or let her go. They let me go because they don't care. Like, you out, but the baby stays. She pooped once in the hospital. That was it. She's not a good pooper, if that makes sense. She does not poop every day. I've spoken about this with my pediatrician over and over again. I've gone to the pediatrician just for constipation visits because I thought she was constipated. Apparently, breastfed babies, especially if they're exclusively on breast milk, they can go days. I've heard up to 10 days. One time the pediatrician was like, 10 days is a lot, but she said up to 10 days without a poop. But at that point, we did go like 9 days, and at that point, they gave her an enema so she could poop. But then she didn't poop for like 5 days after that. But anyway, but she was eating. Old girl eats. I mean, she eats a lot. She probably gets between it's hard to say because now she latches better. She drinks more from my breast, so it's hard to say. But at one point, she was getting around, between 25 to 30 ounces a day. But now she gets less bottle and more from breast. But she still gets a lot of bottle. So she still probably gets maybe, anywhere between 16 to 20 ounces from the bottle. And I think I'm making up the rest, or she's just not eating as much. But it's hard to tell when you're breastfeeding because you don't know what they're getting. But she pees a lot, and she doesn't poop a lot, but she pees a lot. So it is what it is. But every baby's different, right? So that's just really, really what it is, and you kind of just have to do what's right for you. And there's a lot of pressures to be perfect. I know I stressed breastfeeding so much, and I stressed it being perfect. Like, I wanted to know why my baby wouldn't latch. Why are other babies latching and my baby won't latch? And now she latches. Like, we had to work on it. And it's not perfect. It is far from perfect. But it's better. And I'm happier. And I stressed the breastfeeding so much that I was miserable, and I was making her miserable. Like, flat out, I was miserable. I wasn't enjoying anything about being a mom. I wasn't enjoying her. I mean, yeah, she, I think she's beautiful and she's amazing. And she was like, I'm like more in love with her now than I was when she was first born, to be honest with you. Even though she's still only 2 months, so it is kind of still firstborn, but like, I'm like way more in love with her now. And I mean, that's the God's honest truth. I was not one of those women that the second the baby was put on me, I was in love. Like, I was looking at it kind of like an alien, or looking at her. You see, I called it her. I was looking at her like kind of like an alien. Like, wait, this is mine, and what am I supposed to do with it? And I was relieved she was out, and I was protective of her, but that was about it. I was definitely not like, oh, I'm so in love. But now I am, and it's crazy because from the moment she was born, all I started thinking about was what I had to do and do right. Am I messing up by not doing this? Am I messing up by not doing that? Like, that was what was in my head all the time. And I couldn't enjoy being a mom. I couldn't enjoy my beautiful baby because all I was thinking about was, am I screwing up? Am I screwing up? How did I do? Should she, be doing this? Why are we not, I got to read to her. I bought all these books. I got to read to her every night. She's not up enough to do this, should not be. Yeah, you can read to her. If I have an opportunity, I do read to her. You should read to your baby, but it is busy as hell sometimes. Like, what you think of when you're pregnant and you've never had a kid, and what you do in theory, that's before the baby's born. What happens in reality when the baby's born may be different things. You have to be willing to kind of let that go. And I wasn't, because I'm very rigid. I am type A personality. I am very, used to things, not used to things going right, but I'm used to being in control. And I don't control her. Not yet. I'm trying to. This flies while she's a baby and she doesn't understand. But, we used to fight all the time about breastfeeding, and she always won. And I'm bawling about it, and she's frustrated. And I'm just like, just take this bottle, and she's drinking. But now we're so much better. And, she breastfeeds better. So what I do is at each feeding, I will latch her. Every feeding. This is independent of me pumping. I still pump. If I pump before her feeding or after her feeding, however I pump, it is what it is. Each feeding, I latch her to my breast. She drinks what she drinks. If she comes off, I relatch. I'll do that for a while until she gets really fussy, because she tends to get really fussy, and she doesn't, because she gets fussy either because the flow's not what she wants, which that's usually what it is. It's because the bottle comes out a lot quicker than it does for my breast. So she gets really fussy. I tend to put a warm compress on my breast. Even when I'm breastfeeding, I'll put it up, and try to massage a little bit to help it flow out quicker for her. But, bottles, it just flows. Mommy doesn't flow the same way. She gets frustrated after a while. But she will breastfeed sometimes for like 30 minutes. So it's like, how much more can I ask for? And that's from one breast, because I have a problem with latching her on the other breast. I do have sensitive scar tissue from my breast reduction 10 years ago. So, I can't only latch her on my left. I cannot latch her on the right now. And when I did, the one time I did, it was like the most excruciating thing ever. So we are lefty. But anyway, I was just stressing it so much. But now I latch her. I give her bottle afterwards. Her bottle is full of breast milk primarily. And, we go from there. And that's her feeding. That is how, that's how we do it. I give her a bottle full of breast milk. And that's how we do it. Now, I had to, and there's nothing wrong with formula, but I didn't want her drinking as much formula. So in the very beginning days, she got a lot more formula because I didn't have as much milk. My milk came in actually the day we came from the hospital. I got home and then my milk came in. It was crazy. But I still wasn't producing enough. So she had formula. After that though, I kind of started to get her off of formula. So I do still have formula and we still use it, but I don't use it as much. I tend to just focus on breast milk. So that's why I pump all the time. And so when I pump, it goes in the fridge. Sometimes I freeze. I've actually gotten to the point, because she does drink more from me, I've gotten to the point that I have like 4 packs of milk in the freezer. It's nothing. It's not a big stash. I know there's women out there that have like 100, packs in the freezer. I have 4 packs. That's great for me. I just started with that. I didn't expect to have any packs in the freezer because it was a time where I couldn't even keep up with what she drank in a day. So now I'm keeping up. And if I can't keep up for whatever reason, then I'll supplement with Enfamil, which is the formula we're using. So, that is what it is. You just have to be flexible. But I feel like there was so much pressure and there's so much, out internal and external, pressures I was putting on myself, feeling out like a failure when it didn't go right, feeling like it was something wrong with me, bawling all the time, like I wasn't good enough, or why doesn't she do what, then I'm like, why isn't the baby latching? Or I know I have flat nipples and I had a breast reduction. So, she's not working with an even field here, right? So I like felt all types of ways and I was so sad. And, there was no one I could talk to about it. And I do my videos, but I don't know if it came through. I mean, maybe it did come through, but, I was like, is this postpartum depression? And you don't want to say that because you feel like people will start trying to send people to your house because you're like, oh, I'm a little sad, So you don't want to say those words. And that's the really unfortunate part about it, because we need to be more vocal about these things so that other women don't feel alone. The thing about it is, if you knew that I felt that way too, or I felt that way when I had a baby, or this is what happened with me, then you wouldn't feel as bad, because you'd say, oh, okay, got it. And I don't feel so alone. I can make it through, and we could talk tips. Or even if it didn't happen to me, I can still be supportive to you. So, but we don't talk about it, and people are afraid to say postpartum depression, and people don't even know about postpartum anxiety, so it's just like you just suffer in silence to some extent. Even though it's all this awareness, you suffer in silence because people think you're just going to like do something crazy. And so many women suffer from these things. And even if it's not so blown out postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, just the normal stresses of being a mom. So, it's really important to have somebody to talk to. And I felt like I didn't really, because no one really could understand it. I don't have a lot of new mom friends. Most of my friends are professionals who have decided to either not have kids or put kids off until later in life. Now I'm 36, so I've already put kids off later in life. But most of my friends are in their mid to late 30s, and also probably early 40s, and they don't have kids yet. And they all want to have kids, the ones that want to have kids, but they don't have kids yet. So, they're career oriented and they're doing things like that. So I'm like an experiment. um, so it's just having that support system is important. And so, whether you can get it from friends or family, and I honestly didn't have anybody. I did not have anybody. Like, even with Michaela, it's just, my husband, her, and me. That's really, we do everything. I don't have a huge support system. My mom did come up to visit after she was born. My mom is great emotionally and mentally to talk to some extent. But my mom is also completely blind. So her helping the same way is not like other people because, she wasn't blind when I was born. I am her youngest child. So she's never had a baby and been blind. So it is, a challenge for her. I know she has her own emotions because she has never seen Michaela. She's held Michaela, but she's never seen her. And this is her only grandchild that she will probably never see. I have two older brothers. They have kids, but my mother was not blind when any of their kids were born. Although her eyesight was deteriorating, she wasn't blind. She's completely blind. Michaela's born. She's never going to see Michaela. I mean, it could be a miracle. I pray there's a miracle. But in lieu, if there's no miracle, she'll never see Michaela. And so I know she deals with those things. And so when I talk about, these cute little outfits, little girly outfits, or, whatever it is I talk about, I try to explain it to her. But there is still something missing because she doesn't see it. And so, but this is what this is what it is. So sorry. Michaela actually sleeps through the dog barking most of the time, unless she's not completely asleep. If she's just kind of sort of asleep or waking up, it will like make her wake up more, or, but if she's asleep like she is now, she sleeps through it. So thank God. I think she's used to it from hearing them when she was in the womb. But anyway, so yeah, I just didn't really feel like I had a lot of support, and I still don't. I mean, my husband's great, but he's at work most of the time. So other than him helping, I don't really have any help. And sometimes it's really hard, and sometimes it's overwhelming. And, I have a lot of time to think, even though I'm busy, it's weird. I'm busy, but then I have time to be like, I wish I had help. I thought about going to care.com and hiring somebody to come in maybe, once or twice a week to, take some of the load off of me, but I haven't done that yet. I don't know if I will, but having an emotional support system and someone who could possibly help physically with the baby is really important. I'm as I said, I'm 36. I'm my mom's last child. Things have changed in 36 years. So we do talk a lot about it, but at one point she was telling me to put cereal in Michaela's milk because Michaela drinks a lot of milk, and she was like, "Oh, the milk is probably too thin. Put some cereal in it." Which I spoke to her pediatrician. I did not do. I spoke to her pediatrician about. Pediatrician said she wouldn't recommend it at this stage because Michaela's too young. But also, I read online that it could be a choking hazard until the baby's older. So, things that they used to do. My mom, when I was a baby, I don't know if she gave me water, but I know she said that because I was exclusively breastfed. But I know she said that, people did give babies water then. So, but you don't give your baby water now, at least not this early on. I think at some point it's okay, but not right now. I don't know when the okay point is, but it's not right now. So, it's just things have changed. So she has her ideas and views. I have my ideas and views, but you need to have a support system. And I welcome anyone who watches my videos who just want to talk, chat. I am actually very open to that. So if you feel I would love to create some sort of support system, but again, I don't know how to do that through YouTube other than people commenting and things, but maybe that's enough. I don't know, but it'd be great to have a support group where I know there's several new moms or going to be new moms who watch my videos and who videos I watch as well. So, just having that, because once you have that baby, you will see that everything you thought you knew doesn't mean anything unless maybe you've done it before. But I think even if you've done it before, whether this is your second, third, fourth baby or 10th, it's a newborn. It's a new baby, so it's not like your ninth baby or like, your prior babies. It's a new baby. So I'm sure it comes with its own stressors. I'm sure it comes with its own challenges. And now you have another baby, another child. So that in itself. So it just would be great to have that. I know that for a while I was really depressed, and I also was anxious, very anxious. I felt like I was worried about everything, normal things, not just baby things, everything. Like, things that I did daily started to like give me anxiety. And that's how I learned about postpartum anxiety. Now, I'm not seeing a therapist. I'm just doing this. I haven't reached out to anyone to talk to professionally. And I don't necessarily think I need it, at least not right now. If I do need it, I think there's no shame in that. I want to make that clear. There's no shame in going to therapy in the past, because I do have a history of depression and anxiety in years past. I have seen therapists, so there's nothing wrong with it. And if you feel you need it, you should do it. I don't think you should sacrifice mental health, because there are a lot of stigmas attached to it. So if you need it, please do it. I don't feel I'm at that point. I should have been more proactive and probably set up a therapist prior to having her. My OB did say I should do that just so I could have someone to constantly talk to. But the therapist isn't just somebody to constantly talk to. It's somebody to constantly talk to who's charging you money. So and with being so busy and with working and all that, I just said, hey, I'm not going to do that. And then after I had the baby, it was like, oh, maybe I need to do that. But I do find that recording these videos is really helpful for me. If nothing else, if no one ever watched them, it's still helpful for me to just get it out and to talk. So that's it. I just really wanted to mention that I don't really know what this video was about. More so about having a support system, which I don't, but I'd like to create one. That's also a reason, before I end this quickly, that's also a reason why I think about whether I should have more children in the future, because I don't have a large family. My husband actually does, but they're not close. He has a large family. He's one of 6 children, but they're not super close, which is weird to me. I'm one of 3, but my brothers are much older than me. And so I feel like the gender difference combined with the age difference is why we're not super close. I mean, we're close enough, but we're not, I wouldn't run to them to talk about any of this stuff, or, I mean, it's female issues anyway. But again, it's like, I don't have a large family, and she has cousins, but no one in her age range. So it makes me wonder whether I should have another child, to at least so she's not alone, or maybe it'll be okay. I know it can be very lonely. And I don't want her to have that. I don't want her to feel, alone like that. She keeps laying back like that for whatever reason. She keeps doing that. But no, you can't. But yeah, so I don't have a huge family, so I'm thinking maybe should I have another kid so she can have a sibling? What if they end up not liking each other and not being close? Is that something you can change when you raise them? I don't know. Do I want to go through this again? Because newborn babies in the baby stage is hard. I'm assuming it's getting easy. It'll get easier as she gets older. I don't know, but these are all things I think about. So that's it, ladies. If you want to kind of be my informal support group, or you want me to be part of your informal support group, and feel free to reach out. We can even chat offline or on Facebook or email or something like that, I am, here emotionally and mentally, because I know how important it is and I know what I would want. So there you go. There you have it. And I will be recording a video soon. And as soon as I get another chance, I during the week I'm thinking, oh, I gotta talk to my girls about this. I gotta talk to my girls about that. And I try to keep little mental notes for things I want to talk about, on my videos. But anyway, ladies, I will talk to you soon.